loves pizza, but it's even better when it's homemade with fresh BC ingredients. Welcome, honorable judges and fellow Field to Fork Challenge participants. My name is Jade Fawson and I'm a senior member of the Boundary C 4-H Club. Today I'm going to show you how to make homemade pizza with fresh BC ingredients. I'm going to show you how to make the dough and the toppings and bake it. First, before we start, we need to make sure we're wearing an apron, our hair is pulled back, and we've washed our hands. We're going to start with making the dough. The ingredients you will need are 1 tablespoon instant yeast, 1 cup warm water, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 tablespoon oil, and 1 cup flour, plus up to 2 more cups depending on the dough's consistency. The tools you will need are measuring cups, a heavy-duty mixer, a large bowl, and a pizza pan. Let's get started. To make my pizza dough, I'm going to start by adding my sugar, yeast, warm water, which is about 112 Fahrenheit, which is the temperature that yeast loves, and I'm going to make sure that's slightly incorporated. When you're using a heavy-duty mixer, it's very important to keep your hands away from it and be safe. You also don't have your hair or anything dangling around it. There, it's incorporated, so I'm going to add my salt, oil, and flour. I'm going to start by adding only 1 cup of flour. This flour is just from our local grocery store, but I was surprised to find that on our label it's produced in Armstrong, BC. It's good to see that you don't have to go far to buy fresh BC ingredients. Now I'm going to just hand stir this together and then start adding more flour. Now I'm going to add another cup, and then after that I'm going to slowly add it so we get the right consistency of dough, which is not too sticky. It'll pull away from the sides nicely, but it still needs to be soft. You just want to put it on low speed. You keep adding a little bit more flour at a time if it still feels sticky. Once the dough is the right consistency and has come together, you knead it with the heavy-duty mixer for about 7 minutes until it's smooth and elastic. There, now my dough is kneaded and I'm ready to rise it. I'm going to take it out of this bowl, shape it in a light ball, and I have put oil in this big bowl, so put it down, lightly coat it, then you can flip it over. At this stage you need to rise it for 15 minutes. I'm going to put it in my oven on proof. While my pizza dough is rising, we're going to start chopping up and preparing our toppings. The ingredients and materials you will need for your toppings are 1 pound lean hamburger, about a tablespoon basil and oregano that were both grown in our garden, some beet greens, cheese, a bell pepper, salt and pepper, a BC red onion, tomato sauce, a frying pan, small bowls, and a knife, and a few other utensils. First, I'm going to get our ground beef going in our frying pan. I'm going to fry my ground beef. This ground beef was from a heifer that was born and raised on our commercial cattle ranch in BC. I'm going to turn my element onto medium-high heat and start frying it. Now that it's 15 minutes, we can take our risen dough out of the oven and it'll look like this. Next, we're going to shape it onto our pizza pan. I like to use my hands so I don't get too much of the air out. You have to gently stretch and use your palm. In our family, we like very thick crust. Looks about good. I'm gonna let my pizza dough rise on the oven with a clean tea towel on it and set my oven for 400. Now I'm going to chop up my ingredients. Make sure you wash them to get all the dirt and bugs and other things like that off them first. When you're using a knife, you want to make sure you curl your fingers like this so you don't have the risk of cutting your fingers. These beet greens are from our garden, and I think it's cool to use different parts of the plant in things like this because it'll add flavor and it's using something that you don't usually use. Now that I've cut up all my vegetables, I'm going to add my beet greens, oregano, and onion to my ground beef. My beet greens, oregano, and basil we grew in our very own garden, while our red onion and peppers we got from a fruit stand 30 minutes away in Osceola, BC. Now I'm adding my beet greens, oregano, and onion to saute with my beef, along with some salt and pepper for flavor. This will take about 2 to 3 minutes further. Now I'm going to grate my cheese. I got this cheese from Jersey Land Organics, which is 45 minutes east in a town called Grand Forks. They make and sell their own cheese. I've been using the same cutting board this whole time, but I've been very careful not to put my ground beef near it, so you are food safe and don't cross-contaminate. Now that I have all my ingredients ready and my pizza dough has risen for half an hour, I'm going to start assembling. One of my family's hobbies is canning. Every summer we can tomato sauce, peaches, and salsa, all from our local fruit stands. I'm going to start by spreading this evenly around the top of the pizza. Now we're going to put on our cheese. Everybody likes lots of cheese. And now we're going to put on the rest of our toppings, our peppers and our ground beef. There, it's all ready to go in the oven. They take about 20 to 25 minutes to bake. When opening the oven, make sure you open it all the way so you don't burn your hand on the door. And we can set the timer. My pizza has been in the oven for 20 minutes and I think it's perfectly done. Make sure you have your hot mitts on and be careful when working around a hot oven. The last thing I have to do is sprinkle on my fresh chopped basil. I wait till the end so it keeps all of its delicious flavor. There, and ta-da, I'm all done. Today taught you how to make your own pizza dough from scratch, prepare your ingredients, and put it all together to bake the perfect homemade pizza. I hope I've inspired you to go home and make your very own variation with all the BC ingredients we have at our fingertips. Thank you.